Mother Sue.
Well, seeing the time factor, as far as an interim plan, how soon will vendors know what the alignment of the vendor spots are going to be? They need to know when they're signing up. They're signing up now, aren't they, Kath?
Not yet.
Not when do they have to start signing up and knowing?
We phone called all of our vendors in the last 2 weeks to kind of inventory who was returning, if there was changes to their business addresses, phone numbers, contact information. So we had staff make personal phone calls to find out who was still interested in being in the market. So that said, we pretty much have 100% return rate for the vendors this year.
Okay, so when is the
Well,
deadline for?
I think what we would hope to do is have the packets out by the end of the month. And that would give, we have a tentative vendor meeting sign up for, I think it's April 19th, to go over a lot of different issues with Health Department, Tax Commission. I'm lining up a whole bunch of different folks for that meeting. So I'm hoping to have the packets done, which would be the application policies all put together by hopefully the end of the month.
Because I'm just thinking that the interim plan needs to be put into place right now, and I haven't heard any objections from any of the council to putting a banner over Jackson, and my opinion is get it done. But I don't know about how the rest of you feel, but I think that's a no-brainer part of the interim plan or part of the strategic plan. Tom, weigh in.
Well, I sit on I'm the council liaison currently to the Farmers Market Advisory Board, and have been sitting in on a lot of the conversations that the advisory board has been having, and Arts Commission about the strategic plan. And there's some pretty far-reaching, prescriptions within the strategic plan itself. There's some things that are much smaller and, seem like let's do them as fast as we can kind of things. But for the most part, my feeling about the strategic plan is that I think that there needs to be some digestion that takes place. Maybe, I'm not sure if I'm using the right analogies for it, but rather than adopting the plan, I'm in favor of our proposal to receive the plan and work on it for a while. And just see if there's anything that we can adopt out of it. I think in the meantime, the conversations about the strategic plan with the public meetings and conversations that have happened, the Farmers Market Advisory Board has been coming up with some suggested policy changes that they would like to see before before this year's market. So, and I think that that's going to go to your committee in a week or so at some point. So I think that there's a chance to pull some of the features out of the strategic plan and start moving some things forward that, are more policy related, get us moving forward so that we can have a seamless start and an operation of the market this year. I'm pretty excited to see, a market that doesn't keep changing every few weeks this year. And it will be nice to get the thing moving and going and see, try on these new pair of pants that we have and see how it goes for the year. So,
okay. I just had a question for Kathleen or Jen. One of our public meetings, there was some consideration about representation on this market commission that you're describing, and representing both craft vendors and produce or food vendors. And so I'm wondering about the complexion of that commission and whether the discussion of the makeup of that group could be part of the administrative committee conversation as well, just so to make sure we don't miss any key stakeholders who might warrant representation there. Is that doable, or does that need to happen sooner?
Yeah, if I could
Gary.
respond to that. Yes, we'll bring it to the administrative committee, have them look at it. Certainly, staff has some recommendations for representation, but we'll bring it to committee, and committee can give us direction from there.
Great.
But we think that's the starting place, is to get some oversight committee in place so we can begin work on this.
Okay, and as chair of that committee,
I was
does
going to
that
say,
sound okay to
as chair,
you? I was
as
gonna
chair of
say
that
Sue.
committee, I was going to say, one of the things that, what I felt kind of gave me the shivers about this 5-year strategic plan is it had so many well, to me, as I always say, you take a good idea, you give it, the best way to ruin it is to give it dues, officers, and bylaws, because that just locks everybody into, you got to do this, do that, do this, do that, and the market is an organic, happy thing that I wouldn't like to have the booth police running around going, well, you're 3 inches over here. I mean, just that whole idea. So anything that keeps the market as alive and ability to adjust and ability to change, but not mandate every little inch of their lives. And I think that, the less bylaws and rules, the better. If you can get away with that. I know it's very hard to, it's like herding cats, but that's what the market has always impressed me as being something very alive and fun on Saturdays, and then just don't want to go down worrying about who's going to be worried about whether the beads that were in this necklace were from local clay or those kinds of things. I don't want it to spoil the market. So when you're coming forward, and then some of the ideas like getting the business improvement district involved, I mean, those are really long-term things. There are a lot of things that are Mr. Zaretsky gave us as possible things, but they might not necessarily fit Moscow, but we might find a way to make these ideas fit Moscow. And I think your digestion word is pretty good, pretty good one. So, but the part of there is some certainty that people want, and that's why I was asking about when the packets go out and will there be a plan for this year, because if I was planning a booth, I'd want to know. Just tell me where to go. Just put it in one spot and don't mess me. Don't mess with me. That's the idea. Great.
Wayne?
I'll just reiterate a little bit of what I said in the admin meeting after you made your presentation. Is you've got a big job just getting the market going again. Every year, it's a pretty big step, and whether it was unfortunate or fortunate, the timing of having the strategic plan study being done at the same time having made a big move to Main Street, well, that was coincidental, but that's the way it worked out. I think Main Street's still a little bumpy right now, and it needs to be smoothed out, and I think that needs to be your focus. And so I support you in your interim plan right now. I don't see anything in that 5-year plan that absolutely has to be implemented right away. I think some of the marketing ideas are a good place to start. I think the banner would be fine. But for now, let's get the farmers market going again. Let's get everybody happy. Let's make this transition to Main Street smooth, and then we can start looking back at the strategic plan again. I don't want the strategic plan stuck back on a bookshelf someplace, loaded up with dust, and not looked at again. There was too much time and energy and money spent on that. So let's keep thinking about it. What can we do with it as time goes on? But for now, let's just get the farmers market up and running.
I think we have the president of the Farmers Market Advisory Board here. I just ask if there are vendors who would like, if we're missing anything, or you'd like to come up and say anything, Allison. You'd have to come to the microphone so we can hear you, please, if you want. And as usual, state your name and address for our record, please.
Hi, Allison Meyer, 30469 South Ditmore Road, Worley, Idaho. I am a vendor and the president of the board. I'm really only up here because you just asked me. I do support what they're saying, but I would like to just emphasize a smidge more what Tom said, that we do actually have some recommendations for policy for 2013 that were worked on even prior to the strategic plan discussions, and which I believe were improved. Our recommendations were improved because of the strategic plan. Things that we learned from actually you guys and the community, and we believe that they could be simply, adopted in the next 2 weeks. That we'll come to you next week with those. So not to, make you crazy, like, oh my gosh, there's going to be a lot of stuff to do, but we really have threshed those out and feel like there actually are some things that we can do this year that are policy related in addition to what they're suggesting.
Great. You have a question for Allison?
Well, I think we just want you to understand that, if you guys have some recommendations, hey, that's great. Mm-hmm. But our feeling is we don't want to overload you guys with too much to get done. We just want to make the job happen.
Yeah.
And if you have some recommendations, some things in that strategic plan that you think look like a great idea,
yep.
Well, fine.
Yeah, so some of them are things, like I say, well, it isn't even that much. It's like three main things. Two of them are related. One of them is something we worked on before the plan came along. The second one is because the plan came along, it sort of complements the first one. So they're well thought out, already well written. We've discussed with Tom and Mac. They know the whole details of it. So I will discuss with Tom tonight our next step. But even Randy, I guess, has a copy of our red line policies that would, it's the 2012 policies that we've made all of our adjustments to make those few things happen. So.
And since that seems complementary to what the administrative committee is going to be talking about Monday, I invite you to attend if you're so inclined. Let's see.
But we really support the idea of slowing down and reviewing the plan over time.
Looks like Walter has a question,
too.
Yeah.
Question for Gary. The type of things that Ms. Meyer is talking about, those would come through administrative committee and go.
Yes.
And then come to the full council?
Yeah, the recommendations made will come at the same time. We have no problem with that. Again, we're just trying to get everything, as Sue said, get it in place so we can get on with the market. So okay. Certainly the changes that have been recommended don't appear to be anything that's too earth-shattering. So we intend on bringing that at the same time.
Walter?
Therefore, Madam Mayor, I would make a motion, and Stephanie, there's one small change in what's in the packet, to direct staff to develop a plan for the Moscow Farmers Market to guide decisions for the 2013 market season to meet current market needs while allowing a more engaged and thorough review and potential revisions of the draft Moscow Farmers Market strategic plan, and direct staff to report quarterly to the administrative committee, if not more often. That is the motion.
I'll second that.
So that was, if not more often, as needed?
Yeah, if they feel they need to come earlier, they don't have to wait a quarter.
Okay. And that's the understanding of the seconder as well, Tim?
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, and Randy's okay with that? I always worry.
I think I am too.
Randy whispers. So, okay, good.
You're worried or you're okay?
We're okay.
Right. Okay. Any other discussion before voting, Council?
I'm happy that staff is happy with the motion.
Okay.
If I may say, I did drop the word interim out. Interim gives me pause. I don't really understand how it fits, what it means, et cetera. So let's just do a plan for 13, and while working on the other stuff.
Okay. We'll start this roll call vote with you. Tim?
Aye.
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 The motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who participated in that process.